Hello! In this video, we're going to talk about using sockets to spawn new items and change the scene. So, first of all, this lesson does contain some custom scripts that I've written. That way you don't have to actually write any scripts. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is download the proper scripts. So, I've given you a link to the Google Drive folder, which is shared to everybody. So all I have to do is right click here and download this one, and then right click here and download this one. So I've got the socket scene change and the socket spawn. I'm going to go ahead and show those in the folder, and you can see all my big mess of files that I've downloaded lately. And then let's go into Unity and import those. So I'm using the Unity Create with VR. So for the sake of organization, we'll go to Course Library, Scripts, and then I'm just going to drop them into this folder right here. So I'll go over here, grab these two, and just drop them into my scripts. Of course, organization is up to your discretion, and do as you please. So now if I just click play, you'll see that I have two objects that fall and immediately socket into place. Does it make sense that a ball and a soda can socket into some coat hooks? No, but you get the point. So what I would like to do here is to have this ball fall into this socket and that trigger an event where it spawns another item. So in order to do that, I need to add a script. So right here on the hook modern, I've got socket number 1. That's the one that the ball is falling onto. I'm just going to go ahead and go down here to add component, and let's add a socket spawn onto that. You can see that I've got some values in here that I can fill in. First one is the key tag. So what is the tag of the key item that is going to socket in right here? And if I go here, here's the ball. I can see that the tag for it is ball. So let's go back to socket 1, and the key tag that I'm going to use is ball. Now for the correct item sound and the wrong item sound, these are optional. If you don't put anything in there, it won't hurt anything, but let's go ahead. I'm gonna lock this so it stays in place while I navigate. And I can go to the audio folder. Here's the FX. And I did find in here, this comes with the Create with VR, that there is a game positive and a game negative that both work here. The next thing is the item that I want to spawn, and so I want to drag in a prefab. So just for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to drag in a rustic dark brown chair. And then the spawn location. When the ball hits the socket, where do you want that to spawn? So I'm going to just go behind the hook right here, and I'm going to create an empty game object, and we'll just drop it down here behind the hook, someplace that's going to be very, very obvious. In fact, we'll put it outside the window. It doesn't have a rigid body on it, so we should be able to just see that spawn. Now, if I press play, this should not work right now. Okay, and the reason for that is because I haven't told it to actually fire that script yet. For some reason, I added 2 of these. Let's remove one of those. Okay, so now I've got the socket spawn script all set up. Oops, sorry, almost. I've got this empty game object that I created right here. Let's rename that to spawn location. And let's drag it into the spawn location. Okay, so now I need to tell Unity to actually use the socket spawn script when the ball falls into the socket. So, on the XR socket interactor, we have these interactor events. I want to go to select and let's say that we're going to do something when an item is selected. That's when it falls into the socket. Which item is going to do this? Actually, socket 1. And this is in the socket spawn script. We've got a script called check socket, which means we're going to be checking to see if the right item is in the socket. So let's go ahead and push play. And we can see that brown chair just kind of floating behind the window over there. So just to demonstrate what happens if we get the wrong object, let's go ahead and change the key tag to can. So we get the wrong sound, and then no chair spawning in the background. Okay, for this next part, we're going to use another socket to let us transition from one level to another. So first thing, I'm going to go ahead and take the cricket ball and move it out of the way so that way I can focus on this can falling onto this socket. So, there we go. I see the can is falling onto its socket. Before I do anything else, I'm going to push Control S to save, and then I'm going to duplicate the scene by pressing Control D. Now, normally it would say level 1 copy or level 1 parentheses 1, but Unity actually assumes that I mean to create a level 2, so it automatically labels it for me. Now, let me go ahead and open up level 2, and we can see that it's an exact copy of level 1. I want to make a change to it, so that way when I go from level 1 to level 2, I can tell the difference. So let me just go ahead and delete this room. And then let's add in another room. So that is from our course library, prefabs, rooms. And then let's go from the modern room to the rustic room. Okay, Control S to save scene 2. And then let's go on back to scene number 1, level 1. Okay, just like the other socket, I'm gonna go to my hooks here, and I am going to go to socket 2. And just like in the last one, I'm going to add another component, except this time instead of socket spawn, I'm going to use the socket scene change. And just like the other one, it's asking for a few items here. I'm going to say that my key tag here is can. And again, if I check on my soda can right here, I can look right here and it says that the tag is can. I can change that to another tag if I want to, but of course that can is in fact a can. So, going back to my socket, the key tag is a can, and I don't have to do these sounds, but let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to go into my course library, audio, FX, and then this game success sound I feel like is a better level moving sound, but of course use what you like. And I'm going to use that same UI game negative. Right here, I'm going to type in the name of the next scene. So the name of this next scene would be level 2. And this last value right here is how much should I delay before I do that. So let's go ahead and say 3 seconds. Of course, do what you like right there. Just like last time, I need to go into the select and create a new event. What object am I using for that? That's going to be socket number 2. And under the function, it's in the socket scene change. And the function I'm going to run is check socket. So let's go ahead and push play. If that works, we should hear a positive sound, and then 3 seconds later, we should switch to the other scene. There's the sound, and here we are in our other scene, just like we expected. Now, I'm going to go ahead, let's save that, Control S to save scene 1, and then let's go to scene number 2, and let's make it so we can come back. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this can. Let's move the ball over. And just test that real quick to make sure it snaps onto the socket. There it is. We'll repeat that process in scene 2. So socket 2 on scene 2 should not have that script. Let's go ahead and add that as a component, the scene change. And in this one, let's say that the key tag is can again. And I'll skip over the sounds this time. Actually, never mind, because we do want to hear it go wrong. FX. But let's say that we're going to have the wrong sound be a bird. And then we'll have the game success there. And then the next scene is going to be level 1. So we'll go back to level 1. The delay time here, again, let's do 3 seconds. So let's go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to complete the selected piece. We're going to use socket 2, and then the function is socket scene change, check socket. Oh, I heard a bird. That means we did it wrong. So, of course, in VR, that would be an indicator that I should go and pick up the other item. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make that ball the correct item. So I'm going to change the can to ball. And so now if I push play, I should hear the correct sound. And then 3 seconds later, I should go back to scene 1. And 3 seconds later. And there we have a scene change using the socket interactor. Thanks for watching.